Nice to see you. It really is nice to see you. Hello there. Hello. Oh my, what a pleasant surprise. What a madhouse. Have you been well? Have you been well? Yes. Oh, I wanted to come again, and here I am. Even though it rained a lot today and all, so many of you still came. Isn't that great? You all missed me, right? Seriously, do I appear in your dreams? Missed me that much? It's really strange. You know, I mentioned this when I stood on the SEBASI stage before. Today we were talking in the waiting room. What should I do if I get nervous when I'm on stage? People talk about it. To the people who appear here, I said, you will never get nervous. Because in the 20 years I've been giving lectures, the best audiences I've ever had have always been in front of SEBASI. That's what I said. So I advised them not to get nervous. That's what I told them. When I go to other lectures, I do get a bit nervous. But for this lecture, I don't feel nervous at all. I just feel like I'm talking to younger siblings or my father. So I think I can just speak comfortably like this. The atmosphere is relaxed. But today, I actually want to have a very uncomfortable conversation with you all. A topic that makes people extremely uncomfortable, and that is dreams. Everyone, when it comes to dreams, if you don't change some of your misconceptions about dreams, you will never achieve your dreams. Many people, unfortunately, have the wrong idea. They often think, I will definitely find a dream that I want to achieve in my life. That is actually wrong from the very beginning. People often come to me and say things like, you must be so happy, director. How did you find such a great dream after graduating from music school? Director, you graduated from a music school. They ask me, how did you end up deciding to give lectures after graduating from a music school? Shall we trace back to the past and take a look? It's not that I found this dream of giving lectures. Dreams aren't like a shopping center. Dreams aren't something you just pick up and use. Oh my, I would love to do that. The director teaches well. I wish I could be a lecturer like that too. But don't just take it. You don't find your dreams at a shopping center. You have to create them. How long does it take to create one? It takes a really long time. It takes many, many years. When I was young, my greatest talent was in music. My singing was really good. Now, my condition isn't so good. But when I was young, I truly had musical talent. If I heard a note just once, I could instantly remember what it was. But when I think about it, that wasn't my only talent. According to Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, what kind of intelligence did I have? First of all, when I was young, I had a strong linguistic talent. I had linguistic intelligence. I was good at expressing what I thought in words. So when I came back from events like Sports Day, I could tell stories in a really entertaining way. My father still talks about it even now. He says, hey, people who are honest are good at talking. Do you know how honest you are? If you watch something on Sports Day for 2 hours, you could talk about it for the full 2 hours. Look at your sister. She can only talk about it for 5 minutes because she just glosses over things. People who are honest are naturally good at talking. Yes, I was very honest, so I would put everything I saw and felt into words. I had a talent for language. But the problem was, because I had this linguistic talent and talked a lot, I got scolded like crazy. When I was young, my mom would always say, why do you talk so much, you chatterbox? You know, if you have high linguistic intelligence, most of the time your parents end up scolding you for talking back. And another kind of intelligence I had was intrapersonal intelligence. In other words, self-understanding. Do you know what intrapersonal intelligence is? I know myself. I know the path I want to take. This is my dream. I'm naturally good at these things, so I couldn't just do what my mom told me. So, most kids with strong intrapersonal intelligence get scolded a lot from a young age because they're so stubborn. So stubborn. My mom told me, Mi-Kyung, don't go to Seoul. Just graduate from Chungbuk National University's College of Education and become a music teacher. I flatly refused my mom with just one sentence. Mom, you don't know me very well. Mom, I think I know myself better than you do. Mom, I really think I know myself very well. You only think about me from time to time while running the tailor shop, but Mom, I think about myself 24 hours a day. I can't be a school teacher. It's just not in my nature, my mom replied. Mi-Kyung, you know these days the tailor shop isn't doing well at all. Ready-made clothes keep flooding in, so there's just no money. That's why, so Mi-Kyung, just go to school in Cheongju. Here's what I said. Mom, since you're going through all that, why don't you do it for 4 more years? You only have to struggle for 4 more years, Mom. But if I can't go to Seoul like I want, I'll have to struggle for 60 years, Mom. Please help me just this once, since you gave birth to me anyway. I was such a stubborn kid, everyone. The reason I can stand here and give this lecture is because of that stubbornness. Because I have the conviction to believe in what I think is right and the courage to speak my mind. When I was young, I got scolded for this all the time. They said it didn't count as talent, but there's only one thing. What is it? Only musical talent can be directly connected to a career. So people say, you're good at music, so you should do music. So do you know what happens? The talents that show up when you're young are all lies. Don't be fooled. They mean nothing. That's why what's important is this. To create your own dream, keep having conversations with yourself. What am I really good at? Do you know how long you have to keep asking yourself what you truly love? It can take more than 10 years to find the answer. I kept searching. Even while I was in music school, because I realized I wasn't actually that good at music. It felt strange. I wasn't really that great at it. In fact, I was better at speaking. It took me a long time to realize and feel that. So when did it finally happen? When I finally let the dream of lecturing take root as my own, I decided, yes, I will leave behind 1,000 lectures as a lecturer before I die. I resolved that I would never repeat myself, that I would research and lecture every day, and that I would create more than 1,000 unique lectures before I die. I decided that I wouldn't regret pouring everything I have into this dream. I truly felt that I wouldn't regret it, even if it cost me my life. That was when I was 35 years old. Do you know how long it took me to find my dream? It took me 35 years, and because of my mother, I took a long detour. If I had used navigation, I might have arrived much sooner. Don't just listen to your parents, listen to yourself. That's how you have to create your own dream. So a dream is the greatest what? Please repeat after me. What is a dream? It's an invention. Say it with me. What is a dream? It's an invention. It's an invention that you create. It's not something you can just pick up at a shopping center like, oh, I'll do that. That job is popular these days. No, that kind of thing isn't what I'm talking about. That job was made by someone else. It's optimal for that person. But what about me? You have to create what's optimal for you. You need to think about it for a really long time. You won't find it right away, and you can't make it instantly. Now, the second thing you need to know about dreams, repeat after me. A dream is something that makes your heart race. If you find a dream that makes your heart race, your whole life will fall into place. That's honestly the biggest lie of all. What I was most concerned about was exactly these kinds of things. When I meet people and talk to them, especially young people in their 20s and 30s, they say things like this. Director, the work I'm doing these days, it doesn't make my heart race. So I guess this isn't my dream. How can you predict what your dream is? They say it doesn't make their heart race. So because this isn't my dream, I'm going to leave here and keep searching for something that excites me. So I tell them, go ahead and keep searching until the day you die. Will you ever find it? You will never find something in this world that always makes your heart race. What's important is that I kept working at lecturing until it made my heart race. That's how you build your dream over 20 years. You work until your heart starts to pound. For my first ever lecture, I got a request to do it. I practiced over and over. It was even harder before the lecture. Who would give Mi-Kyung a lecture opportunity when they don't even know her? Is there anyone here who wants to give lectures? Who would give you a lecture when you are a nobody? Nobody gave it to me. And people like the company's training managers, they get reprimanded. If someone makes a mistake and ruins 2 hours, it's the end. That person, nobody will contact them anymore. So what did I do? I bought a book. You know, when you go to a securities company, they have that thing, the Book of Listed Companies. It lists the names of all the companies listed in Korea, but it only has the headquarters addresses. So I would call the main office's representative number. And then I would explain the situation. So I played 2 roles, one as a telemarketer and another as Mi-Kyung myself. It was all just an act. Yes, understood. I'll make sure to tell Ms. Mi-Kyung to call you. Thank you. And then I'd call back. I did all of this myself. I did this for a whole year. And then I made my own brochure. I hadn't really given many lectures, I never faked my academic background, but I did exaggerate my work experience a bit. I hadn't given a single lecture, but I lied and said I'd done it about 3 times and then spent about 1.5 million won. Back then, all we had were stamps. Since I had to send everything by mail, I bought stamps, and together with my daughter, who's now a college student, we glued them all by ourselves. We did all that to send these out to companies. We stuck every single one on by hand. Do you know what I called the marketing rule I used back then? Please repeat after me. The HG rule. Do you know what the HG rule is? Headbutting the ground. Meaning taking on opportunities without planning, headbutting the ground. I worked myself to the bone like that, and finally, I got one lecture opportunity. I practiced like crazy for 10 days straight. I didn't sleep at all. Do you know what I did? I set up a mannequin, put a hat on it, and imagined it was a real person, you know? That's how I practiced everything. After practicing all that, I would sit my husband and my child down and rehearse in front of them. It's a 2-hour lecture, you know? One lecture. So after 2 hours, they would be about to go crazy. Can't you stop now? Do you really have to keep going? Do you really have to keep going? If I succeed, I will buy you a car, I will buy you this and that, I'll buy you everything again. Honey, please help me. Saying things like that, I practiced over and over again. That went on for a whole 20 years. And now, starting about a year ago, my heart started to pound. Mi-Kyung, this is just the beginning. How wonderfully can you live your life until you're 70? So I found a new dream. This is a dream I created myself. Look, SEBASI is so amazing, isn't it? Everyone, don't get too excited watching things like TED. The success stories of foreigners aren't all that special. They're really nothing. The Korean success story, which achieved growth in a span of 50 years compared to America's 200 and 300-year-old success stories, is what people all over the world want to learn from. Do you know how many people in Southeast Asia want to learn about the Korean spirit? They wonder, how did Koreans manage to succeed like that? They're curious, aren't they? Everyone, our country's story is the real story. I named it the K-story. Now, for me, as someone who shares the spirit of the Korean people through this K-story, my dream is to travel the world giving lectures. But the important thing is this. If you call it a dream but never touch it, it will always remain a dream. But if you call it a dream and immediately take action, it's no longer a dream, it's reality. Everyone, don't keep your dreams in your heart for too long. Turn them into reality right away. So I have a dream. I have a dream. Someone who keeps saying that is a bit weird. How can you only have dreams and nothing else? When on earth will those dreams ever become reality? Now, those of you who are currently working, please raise your hands. Those who are working at a company. These days, you shouldn't go to too many lectures that tell you to find your dream, because you'll end up wanting to leave your job. Honestly, in this world, there are hardly any office workers who think of their workplace as a place for their dreams. So, when you see people like me giving lectures outside, or working as designers, or as show hosts, or in other professional jobs, it seems like they're living their dreams, while you feel like you're just a worker working desperately in someone else's dream place. Do you know what happens then? When people tell you to find your dream, you keep thinking about quitting your job. Get a grip. Are you already looking for some new business idea? There are people who keep chasing after things like that, right? Here too? Get a grip, everyone. Your workplace is your dream place. Haven't you ever seen people who work as if they're living their dream at their workplace? If you look closely, you'll see them. For example, someone joins a bank, and even from their first days as a new employee, whatever task they're given, they work as if it's their dream, as if it's their own dream. Do you know what happens then? Do you know what happened as he worked at that company for 30 years and eventually became a vice president? By working as if he were living his dream, he became an expert in achieving dreams. Even if he leaves that company, he can immediately achieve a second dream elsewhere. Why is that? Because he became an expert at achieving dreams. But there are also people who just work as if it's only a job, right? They come in and feel frustrated. How can I work this hard at this job? This isn't right. I should just do it half-heartedly. So if you don't treat your work like a dream and just treat it as a job, do you know what happens then? You end up as someone who only learned how to work, but never learned how to make dreams come true or achieve them at your job. So when you retire, what do you say? Most people say something like this. They feel really resentful. Up until now, I lived for the company, so from now on, I'll live for myself. But can you really separate those things? Is that even possible? If you work at your job as if it were your dream, you know what happens? Then that work itself becomes your dream. Among many mothers, there are some who raise their children as if raising a dream. My mom had 4 daughters and 1 son. I'm the second daughter. My mom worked as a dressmaker her whole life. She had surgery for arthritis, and it got so bad that it felt like everything here was about to burst. They actually had to remove everything, so now there's nothing but metal in there. Not long ago, when my mom was on TV, someone said this. Nam Hee-suk asked my mom a question. Ma'am, is it true that your knees are all filled with metal? Do you know what my mom said to that? She's a really funny person. It's fine. As long as I don't walk past a magnet, I'm okay. That's how funny she is. Do you know what my mom is like? She actually sacrificed herself for her children. She worked as a tailor for 50 years, wearing out her knees her whole life. But do you know what she said? My mom has never once said anything like, I couldn't eat what I wanted or wear what I wanted because of you. Do you know how unfair my life has been? She never said anything like that, not even once. Do you know why? Because to her, we were her dream. People who work for their dreams never feel resentful about what they put in. There are people who, after working at a company for a long time, say things like this. I worked myself to the bone at this company, and I feel so wrong. That feeling of resentment means it was never your dream. Do you know what I did to give this lecture well? Isn't it crazy? It's possible. I got up at 4:30 in the morning to study, and I did that for 7 years. I woke up at 4:30 every single day without taking a break. Isn't that insane? Who sacrifices themselves like this? But do you know how many nights I slept only 4.5 hours to become my own instructor? I don't feel resentful. I don't talk about things like this. Why not? Because it's my dream. What is there to feel resentful about? If you feel resentful, then it's not your dream. If you feel resentful about working hard for your children, then that's not your dream. Everyone, don't feel too resentful. If you feel resentful, then it's not your dream. Try working at your workplace as if it's your dream. Then at your workplace, you'll become an expert who creates and fulfills dreams, and you'll leave your workplace as such. So what? You can immediately live as a dream expert. Do you know what happens if you don't live that way? Don't kid yourself thinking you'll start living your dream life after you retire. You'll live just like you did yesterday. People always live the same as they did the day before. That's why if you don't change today, nothing will ever change. So I urge all of you to live today like a true dream expert. The dream you always have in your mind, I sincerely hope you make it come true and achieve it. Thank you for today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.